Continuing with this theme of Kartik, we'll begin with the Damodar Katha part 4, followed by the Gopi Geet and Damodar Ashtakam. So, in this month of Kartik, we are fortunate to hear from Prabhuji about this beautiful play the Supreme Lord does with his dear mother Yashoda. So, we will now request Prabhuji to kindly commence part 4 of the Katha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Aradhyo Bhagwan Vrajesha Tanayas Tadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasna Vrajuvadu Vargena Taya Kalpita Shrimat Bhagavata Purana Yamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Mataidam Nayatraya Graha Paraha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the Gaudiya Guru Varga Acharyas, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. So today we will be continuing the theme of the Damodar Bandhan Leela or the Dam Bandhan Leela, and based on commentaries of Srila Jiva Goswami from Gopal Champu and from Hari Bhakti Vilas by Srila Sanatan Goswami, touching on some of the important points that he brings to light from the Digdarshini, and also from Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 10, chapter number 9. So, first of all, my heartiest congratulations to all of you on this most auspicious day of Gopa Ashtami. And it's a wonderful event in our Lord's life. It is said in the Kartik Mahatmya of the Padma Puran, Shukala Ashtami Kartiketu Smrita Gopastami Bodhai Tada Dinad Vasudev Abhuda Gopaha Purvam tu Vatsapaha, meaning on the 8th lunar day of the bright fortnight of the month of Kartik, It is known and mentioned by the authorities, it is known as Gopa Ashtami. From that day on, Sri Krishna served as a cowherd boy, whereas previously he only tended calves. So it is due to the love that Nanda Maharaj had so much love for him when Krishna requested, Baba, now it is time for us. Please give us permission to tend the cows and the bulls. And Nanda Baba granted that desire of Sri Krishna and Balram. So this is a wonderful, auspicious day in Kartik Gopastami. Now, coming back to our Damodar Leela that we have been, on the first day we kind of set the stage or the philosophy behind it. And then we spoke about, just to recap quickly, the different relationships that exist in the spiritual world and the material world. The 5 relationships, namely the Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras, and Madhuryaras, meaning the relationships or the mellows of neutrality, the mellows of servitorship, the mellows of friendship, of fraternity, the mellows of parental love, and the mellows of conjugal love. Because they exist in the spiritual world, they exist here in the material world, because the material world is a shadow of the real object, and the real object is the spiritual world. But unfortunately, the difference is that everything in the material world has a perverted connotation or a reflection of the spiritual world, where everything is revolving around the jiva or the soul's sense gratification on a bodily concept. Everything that happens in this material world is generally for our own satisfaction, for our own sense gratification. And everything that pure devotees or the inhabitants of the spiritual world, whatever they do, it is for the pleasure of Sri Krishna. And when we say Sri Krishna especially, I just wanted everybody to note that Srila Prabhupada mentions that Sri Krishna is never alone. In our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, it indicates all his intimate associates. And so Krishna and Krishna's associates, Krishna and Krishna's paraphernalia, Krishna and Krishna's holy name, Krishna's and Krishna's dham or his residence, or Krishna's and Krishna's pastimes or his leela are non-different. They are on a very, very transcendental platform that are meant for the sukha. Somebody asked Naradji, or also it has been mentioned from Narad Bhakti Sutra by Rupa Goswami as well, that what is topmost bhakti? So it has been mentioned that Anya Vilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Anavrutam Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Tad Bhaktir Uttam. One should not have any kind of zero, shunya means zero, material desires even for karma and jnana. Anya bilasita shunya, any kind of desires, including the desire for karma, fruitive activities, or jnana, for knowledge or empirical knowledge, it should only be, the only desire should be Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. Just to please Sri Krishna, one should endeavor. And that is defined as pure bhakti. Tad bhakti uttama. Uttam bhakti. So this particular leela, the Dambandhan leela or the Damodar leela or the Damodar Ashtakam, is about pure devotion. It is bereft of any kind of a tinge of even material desire or any kind of personal sense gratification that we find in this material world. The reason why I had set the stage by defining these relationships is, as we dive deep into the Damodar Ashtakam, starting today, the actual verses, we will realize that in the spiritual world, how these relationships are so important and how they are so much relishable by Sri Krishna and his associates. On Diwali day, Mother Yashoda had sent all her servants, and including Mother Rohini, and a lot of the other Rajvasis had gone to help the elder brother of Nanda Maharaj, Sri Upanandaji, for the festival of Indra Yagya. At that time, Sri Krishna was only 2.5 years. There was no Govardhan Puja. Govardhan Puja started, if you all remember, I mentioned that, when Sri Krishna was 7 years of age. So Sri Krishna is very little. At the age of 1.5 year old, Krishna and his little cowherd boys had started walking, sometimes falling, sometimes crawling. And at 2.5 years old, he had already, his and his friends had already started ransacking the houses in Vraj Mandal, in Gokul, in the houses of the gopis, stealing butter and creating a mess. And upon hearing the complaints of all the gopis every day, from the time her Lala Krishna had started walking, she was thinking that how is it possible? Our main business of Nanda Maharaj being Vaishyas is cow herding, cow tending, protection of cows, and all products that the source is mother cow, milk, yogurt, butter, milk products, and we are supplying to all over Vraj Mandal, including the big city of Mathura. Why would my little baby, a 2.5 year old baby, be stealing butter? And thinking like that, she was thinking that, you know what, perhaps because I'm not personally making butter with my own hands for him, that is perhaps the reason why he is going to the others' houses and ransacking and stealing butter. But today is the perfect opportunity. So she had already coagulated some sweet yogurt the previous night from the best of the cows, from a small Goshala in Nanda Bhavan, where there were cows like Ishangi, Gauri, Kari, Mridangamukhi, those Surbi cows giving the sweetest of the milk. And Mother Yashoda had coagulated this for next morning for her to churn it into butter. In Gopal Champu, two wonderful personalities, Snigdha Kantha and Madhu Kantha, every morning, eternally, even in Golok Vrindavan, they narrate the pastimes of Krishna to Nanda Maharaj and the elders just before the cowherd boys and Krishna go for cow herding. And in the evening, before bedtime, they would come back again and sing on their beautiful veena the pastimes of Sri Krishna. So one of these pastimes is the Dambandhan Leela, or the tying of naughty Krishna to a mortar. Dam means rope and Udar means stomach. When Mother Yashoda tied baby Krishna on his stomach, from that time onwards, he was known as Damodar. So, Snigdha Kantha and Madhu Kantha are melodiously narrating these pastimes. Krishna is sleeping in a beautiful slumber. It's about 2 hours, hour and a half before Brahma Muhurat. And Jiva Goswami describes that Krishna's eyes are closed. They represent the most beautiful lotus petals, blue lotus petals. And Mother Yashoda, in her Vatsalya Bhav, in her parental motherly affection, wakes up early morning and simply gazes as a baby child as he is sleeping. And she is in her mind thinking, Lala, today I'm going to make some fresh butter with my own hands. I'm hearing complaints every day, but now on, I will take that responsibility of making butter with my own hands for you. And like that, she wakes up, leaving Lala on the bedstead, taking a wonderful bath, dressing up in wonderful new clothes, silken clothes, and beautiful jewelry because it is Diwali, something very special. And then she goes out into the little courtyard and starts, churning the butter with the churning rod. As the churning rod is put into the butter, into the yogurt, and while she's churning, a wonderful swishing sound occurs, and the clinking of her ankle bells, the clinking of her jewelry, her bracelets, her waist belt, etc., and the sound that was being made by the churning rod into the earthen pot with the swishing, thick, thick, ting, ting, thick, thick, cling, cling. Jiva Goswami mentions that it is as if a wonderful Sankirtan is about to take place. We mentioned last time that in Golok Vrindavan, everything is conscious. In Vaikuntha, as a matter of fact, in all the spiritual worlds, the moment we cross the Viraja or the Karanadaksha Jal and beyond the Brahma Jyoti, Vaikuntha begins. And Vaikuntha is about 75% of the Supreme Lord's creation. 25% of the Lord's creation is material. So 75% is full of inhabitants. It is a majority. We are minorities in this material world. There are 75% of the souls are liberated, and they are always engaged in some kind of service to their Ishtadev or their Supreme Lord, which they have been serving, either Lord Narayana, Lord Vishnu, or the different millions and millions of different avatars that reside in the millions and millions of different planets in Vaikuntha Loka. Some of the prominent planets of Vaikuntha Loka are Kailash, where Sadashiv resides. The origin of Shivji happens from Sadashiv. Then above Kailash is the realm of a lot of Narayan Lokas, and above that is the Vaikuntha Ayodhya. Above that, there is an area called Krishna Loka, and in Krishna Loka, there is the Dwarka Lok, Mathura Lok, and the topmost planet is Golok Vrindavan. So, in all these spiritual worlds, in the spiritual domain, everything is full of consciousness. Chidananda Rupam. All are Vaishnavas. Nothing is inanimate. In this material world, we find that there are objects that do not have life, like a table or a chair. Those are called inanimate. But in the Vaikuntha Lokas, everything is animate. Everything, every individual, whether it appears to be inanimate, is full of consciousness, and they are all Vaishnavas. So these Vaishnavas, the churning rod, the earthen pot, the buttermilk, the ankle bracelets, the girdle on Mother Yashoda's waist, her bangles, her bracelets, are all Vaishnavas assisting Mother Yashoda in a wonderful kirtan, Sankirtan. When that Sankirtan begins, Sri Krishna, who is sleeping alone, wakes up. Jiva Goswami describes, upon not finding his mother, he starts crying. So in this Dambandhan Leela, this is the first time he starts crying. And because he's crying, his eyes are hazy, it is still dark, just woken up from his sleep. He doesn't have a very straightforward, very clear vision, and he simply is attracted to the sound of Mother Yashoda's Sankirtan. So here, a very prominent philosophy that our Acharyas highlight is, Sankirtan is the best way to attract Sri Krishna. This little 2.5-year-old baby has a gait of a little baby elephant, zigzagging his way with not a very clear vision. Simply by his ears, he hears his melodious voice of her mother singing and is drawn to that Sankirtan. And in the Sankirtan, Mother Yashoda is singing all the glories of Sri Krishna from the time he appeared. How Raj is so fortunate by your birth, how the Yadukul or the dynasty of the Yadus or the Moon dynasty is so fortunate because you appeared in this dynasty. How Nanda Maharaj and the Vrajvasis are so fortunate because of your appearance in Vraj. Even in the Gopi Geet, the very first verse, the same thing is mentioned, what Mother Yashoda mentions in a very analogous way. Jayati te adhikam janmana vrajaha. Just because you appeared in Vrindavan, in Vraj, this Vraj has become even more glorious. And like that, reminiscing on the different pastimes, how Putna tried to kill her baby when he was only 6 years old. But by the grace of Nanda Maharaj's deity Parmeshwar, you are saved. So that shows that there's so much intense love in Golok Vrindavan, and especially in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Bhav, that they do not care to know if Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if somebody tells them that he has got some extraordinary powers or he may be an incarnation of Narayana, the Vrajvasis throw it out of the window just because of their deep love for Krishna that they have. Sometimes Nanda Maharaj makes some arguments to the Vrajvasis saying that how can he be the Supreme Lord? He is lying, he is cheating, he is stealing. Even the best of the saints do not indulge in such things. What to talk about the Supreme Lord? He is just my ordinary darling boy, my Krishna. And the same way Yashoda Mai felt. And she was thinking like that when Trinavrata came, the chariot or the wheelbarrow demon a few days later. He was saved by the grace of the Brahmins who were chanting the Susti Vachan and the grace of the mother cows, because the Panchagavya and all the different auspicious paraphernalia was sprinkled on him. So Krishna was saved because of that. And like that, beautiful pastimes of Sri Krishna or Sankirtan was being performed by Mother Yashoda and the other Vaishnavas. When that happened, Sri Krishna, crying loudly, Mother Yashoda, so absorbed in Sankirtan, could not hear the crying of Sri Krishna. That is the effect sometimes. Those who are absorbed in pure Sankirtan or chanting of the holy names, they are oblivious of what is going around them. And Mother Yashoda, so much so absorbed, did not realize that her son had woken up. Her son was hungry. And when she did not hear the crying, Krishna approached her very closely and pulled on her upper veil. And that's when Mother Yashoda realized that Krishna is awake. And then she immediately stopped her churning, put everything aside, and sat down on the floor right there and started breastfeeding Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna has an humongous appetite. It has been described by Jiva Goswami that as if his appetite is unlimited, and Mother Yashoda, due to her motherly love, unlimited milk is flowing from her chest, like the Ksir Sagar, the ocean of milk. And all this is being witnessed by the milk that has been put on a very slow flame earlier on before she starts churning, Mother Yashoda, to make some preparations. This milk, who is also Vaishnava, lest we forget, sees this wonderful sight, but at the same time feels very despondent and very sad. And thus, the milk thinking that my life is useless, he boils up and tries to fall into the fire, into the flames. Mother Yashoda, within the sight, seeing that milk and hearing the hissing, she immediately puts down baby Krishna, who had actually locked his legs around Mother Yashoda's waist, and he was very, very nicely feeding on mother's milk. But like a very ordinary child or like a little toy, easily she put it down. So our acharyas have a commentary here. They say that even Putna, who had the strength of 10,000 elephants, when Krishna was only 6 days old, she was not able to get rid of him when he actually sucked her breast and tried to free her, because he not only was sucking her breast, but he was also sucking her prana, or the life air. And Putna came into her original form as a Rakshasni, a huge demoness, which was several miles long in height and in stature, and very, very ferocious. But even then, she could not free herself from the grip of Krishna's lips or Krishna's mouth. So how is it possible that Mother Yashoda could actually ungrip Krishna and put him on the floor and said, Krishna, watch that yogurt pot, I will be right back. That milk is going to fall in the fire and it will get burned. Let me save it first. And she points towards a huge yogurt pot and she says, Krishna, just watch it. So the philosophy here is that because Mother Yashoda's Vatsalya Ras, her motherly love, is so exceedingly amazing, her love is even more than the love of Sri Krishna. Therefore, she is able to control Sri Krishna. That is called Bhakta Vashya. Vashya. Most of us, we have heard this word term, Bhakta Vatsalya. Bhakta Vatsalya means where Krishna is our provider or Krishna takes care of us. But Bhakta Vashya is a step beyond that, where the devotee takes care of Krishna, and not only that, Krishna is in full control of that devotee. And that is the specialty of Vraj Mandal or Golok Dham or Vrindavan Dham or Vraj Mandal. In Vaikuntha, that is not possible. Vaikuntha is full of Aishwarya, full of awe and reverence, where the Supreme Lord controls the inhabitants and the devotees, but he cannot be controlled, practically speaking, by the inhabitants of Vaikuntha. But in Golok Vrindavan, practically all the Vrajvasis, whether in Sakhya, friendship, Vatsalya, in parenthood, or in Madhurya, the conjugal love, Krishna is constantly being controlled. Therefore, he is known as Bhakta Vashya. Bhakta means devotee and Vashya means controlled. Controlled by the devotee. Therefore, Mother Yashoda was easily able to put him down just like an ordinary child. Otherwise, one of the important features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of the 6 features that makes him Bhagavan, is the 6th opulence is unlimited strength. Somebody who possesses unlimited strength, if that person has locked himself around a waist of a mother or anybody else cannot remove him. But Mother Yashoda was very easily able to. Mother Yashoda now entering the kitchen is immediately sprinkling some cold water on this milk, pacifying the milk, and has a conversation with milk, telling milk, oh milk bhaiya, what's wrong with you? Just be a little patient. I know, and the milk is saying, mother, look, there is no point of me living. Let me die. I want to commit suicide. And Mother Yashoda says, what? What are you saying? That is just not so good. Why? Why are you even thinking like that? The milk says, Mother Yashoda, I'll make it very plain and simple, and I'll tell you straightforward. Right in front of my eyes, I'm seeing that you are actually feeding Sri Krishna, and Sri Krishna is so amazingly feeding on your milk that it is impossible for me to get a chance to serve him by feeding myself to Sri Krishna as milk, because you have unlimited milk in your chest, and Krishna has an unlimited appetite that you are able to quench or to satisfy. So what is the use of me? And here the philosophy again comes in, says that a Vaishnava feels very despondent or feels very sad or even wants to end his life if he is not able to serve Krishna. That should be the goal of every Vaishnava. When we are not able to serve the Vaishnavas and we are not able to serve Sri Krishna, then our life is worthless. That is indeed the goal of all Vaishnavas. And we mentioned several different bhajans that have been written in the Vipralamba or in separation of Vaishnavas. Narottam Das Thakur in particular has written Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More, and at the end he's saying Ramachandra Sangha na paiye, Kandiya paiye Narottam Das, not finding the association of Ramachandra Kaviraj. This Narottam Das Thakur would like to, is feeling that deep separation. And along with that, he remembers the entire Guru Parampara. He remembers Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Also, he remembers the associates of Mahaprabhu. And also in that bhajan, Je Anila Prema Dhana, that we always sing on the disappearance day of our Vaishnava Acharyas. That was again also another bhajan in separation of Vaishnavas. When he doesn't get the association, when he cannot serve those Vaishnavas, He compiled that specifically for Srinivas Acharya on his disappearance. Kaha Mura Acharya Prabhu, Kaha Sri, and then he goes on to say Kaha Sarup Rupa, Kaha Sanatana, Kaha Dasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan, etc. So this is a Vaishnava's life. Vaishnavas should be very, very much eager to serve. That is our Jivar Sharup Hoy, Krishna Nityadas. So Mother Yashoda then immediately pacifies like a guru. Another very important philosophy. Senior Vaishnavas should immediately, whenever, always guide their juniors and have good friendship with their equals and show immense respect for their seniors. So the milk is showing immense respect for Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda, as if like a guru, is saying, no, 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 no. You will be engaged in Krishna's service. You will indeed be with my mother's milk breast. Milk. I cannot make mithai. I cannot make sandesh. I cannot make different kinds of sweets. I cannot make rasgullas. I cannot make the different creams, etc. That I put in the different preparations. So I will be using you. You be assured. So this is the, and even in our Gurvastakam, very important in the verse where Vishwanath Chakravarti says that a great Acharya, who we always address, Vande Guroho Sri Charanarvindam. The word Guroho indicates plural. It is just not the Guru, the initiating Guru. Not that it includes our Siksha Guru, it includes anybody who is guiding us in our Krishna consciousness. Therefore, in Sanskrit, Vishwanath Chakravarti has carefully selected the word Vande Guroho. Guroho is plural. And also when we say the prayers, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha, both the times it is plural. It is all the gurus. It is all the gurus who are guiding us, who are Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, and all the gurus in our parampara. It is addressing them. And in that, the Gurvastakam, it says, Yuktascha Bhaktamscha Niyunjatopi Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Engaging the devotees is the senior Vaishnava or a great Vaishnava's Lakshana, or the symptoms of a pure Vaishnava or an Acharya. So Mother Yashoda is like an Acharya or a Guru, pacifying milk Vaishnava, and thus pacifying milk Vaishnava, she is having a wonderful conversation with him. In the meantime, Sri Krishna is very upset, very angry. Externally, he's showing his anger, and he is biting his lip, and he's saying that who is more important, that milk on the stove or my feeding? I'm still hungry. I'm not done yet. And like this, he expresses an anger, but when he hears the conversation between Milk Vaishnava and Mother Yashoda, he is internally very happy, saying that look how Mother Vaishnava, my mother is such a kind Vaishnava. And those who are very kind, Krishna is especially very benevolent to them, very attached to them. Like Krishna is very attached to Radharani. Radharani is very kind. That is one of the reasons why Krishna is really crazy after Radha. When we act in such a way and we commit aparadha, aparadha means opposite of how Radharani would behave. Radha, aparadha, then we will not get the special benevolence or the attraction of Sri Krishna as much Krishna is attracted to his intimate and most intimate associates like Yashoda Mai or Radharani. So we have to think about this as a philosophical point here, that do we want to become Krishna Preshtha? Like Srila Prabhupada is Krishna Presthaya. He is Krishna Presthaya Bhutale. So that should be our goal, to become Preshtha of Radha and Krishna, to become Preshtha of Nanda Nandan. So like this, Krishna internally very, very happy, but externally showing that he is angered. He actually, looking at that pot that Mother Yashoda had asked him to look at, he finds a very mischievous, he gets a mischievous idea, and then he stops crying, and he has a wicked smile on his face, a mischievous, transcendental, wicked smile. There is a little pestle, a stone that is used to grind chutney or salsa. In the old days, that's how they used to make chutney, on a grinding stone. He takes that pestle and hits it in the bottom of that huge pot filled with some yogurt that was not completely set. It was milk and yogurt, a combination of both. and he hits it in a very particular perfect spot that in the bottom, so that it will have maximum damage or maximum mess, and it flowed like a fountain. And like that, when that milk flowed all over that floor, he immediately realized that, oh, what have I done? And Mother Yashoda will be turning around after a conversation with milk Vaishnava, and then I'm in big trouble. So he immediately gets up and he tries to tiptoe out. And while he's tiptoeing out, his ankle bells make a sound, and he's telling the Vaishnava ankle bell, shh, quiet. If you make noise, Mother, it will draw Mother Yashoda's attention. And Yogmaya, enhancing this wonderful Leela, quietens the ankle bells. And Krishna, being so innocent and naive due to his age, and also because himself being covered by Yogmaya, not knowing that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is acting just like an ordinary child, or he is the ordinary child in Gokul. He tiptoes out into the next room, which has two doors. The first door, from this room, from where he had actually made a mess, he enters in and he closes the door behind him. He latches it with the huge wooden latch. And seeing on this was the storeroom where the extra butter, milk, yogurt, and the sweets were stored. And the butter and the yogurt and the milk were stored on rafters, because this is also to maximize on space. That's a very good idea that our forefathers thought about. So seeing those rafters of butter, Krishna said, aha, she doesn't want to feed me, I'm still hungry. I'm going to teach her a lesson. So lesson number 1, he already broke that pot. Lesson number 2, he went on and he takes he overturns a grinding motor which is completely heavy, but for a fraction of a second, that Satchitananda Rupa, that Bhagwan, the Shara Aishwarya Purna with full strength, Yogamaya, removes that, and he is very easily able to overturn a stone grinding motor which is extremely heavy. When he goes on top, he starts pulling out the yogurt and the butter, and he is enjoying that. And in the meantime, it is dawn. The light is shown, and the door is open in the courtyard, and the window is also open. And there, suddenly, Krishna sees some monkeys and some crows. And Sri Krishna is calling them, beckoning them, come, come, come. And as you all know, that when, from our practical experience, when you have a backyard, and if you throw a few grains or throw a few crumbs of bread, from nowhere you will see, if you see one bird, 20 birds will suddenly flock, or 50 birds, they will suddenly gather out of nowhere. So similarly out of nowhere, a lot of monkeys started coming and a lot of crows started coming. And they started feeding from Krishna's hands. The makhan, the pure, unadulterated makhan, the butter. And Krishna fed them with a lot of love. And Krishna, and so the Acharyas comment here, that the reason why they did it is, I mentioned that last time, that Krishna felt a lot of gratitude. In Treta Yuga, as Lord Ramachandra, these monkeys, or the forefathers of the monkeys, had actually helped Lord Ramachandra build a wonderful bridge to Sri Lanka. And it took a lot of labor, and they labored day and night, and they hardly ate anything, and whatever they ate was fallen off roots and leaves and fruits on the grounds. They did not get any sumptuous good meals. So here Krishna showing the gratitude that I remember what you did for me, and when I came as Lord Ramachandra, I want to give you the best of the best foods. And makhan is considered the best, the topmost, very expensive item, and it is considered the most richest item. And like this, the crows also were being fed. Now, why the crows? Because they were the descendants of Kagbhushanji. In Ramayana, he is one of the most important devotees who eternally, even today, it is said he recites Ramayana at the base of Kailash in Mansarovar. A devotee who was an ardent, very much devoted personality to Lord Ramachandra. And even when Lord Ramachandra was very little and he was eating a piece of chapati, Kagbhushanji came and grab that just to test if he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like how Brahmaji wanted to test Sri Krishna in the Brahma Vimohan Leela. So Kak Bhushanji Bhushanji was somehow cursed by Lomas Rishi due to his not agreeing with his guru, and he was cursed to be born in the lowest of the species, which is a crow body. But he had not forgotten his devotion. So due to that, being the descendants, Krishna remembered out of gratitude. So there's another wonderful philosophy. We should always be very thankful. Thankful to the Vaishnavas, thankful to Sri Krishna. Every day when we wake up, thank you, Sri Krishna. Today again, it's another day, that you have given me prana, life air. You have given me prasadam. You have given me a roof to stay. Many people don't get that. And above all, you have given me the shelter of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada. Please keep me at his lotus feet. Ha ha Prabhu Korodaya, Deho Mohe Pada Chaya. That is what we should be praying to Vaishnava Acharyas and to Sri Krishna. Everything emanates from Sri Krishna, even gratitude. Janmadi Yasya. So everything emanates from the spiritual world. So gratitude also emanates from Sri Krishna. So we should learn that even the Supreme Lord, although he is the Supreme Lord, he is Surut Sarva Bhutanam. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned that Bhoktaram Sarva Yagya Tapasyam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Surut Sarva Bhutanam Surut Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Shanti Richati. Although I am the enjoyer of everything and I am the owner of the entire creation, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, the topmost supreme controller, but at the same time, he is not arrogant. He is not full of false ego or pride. He is Surut Sarva Bhutana. So much to that extent that he even goes in everybody's heart, traveling in no matter what species we are in. Due to our karma, sometimes we are in an ant body or a dog body or a hog body or Lord Indra's body or Brahma's body. He is always with us as Paramatma, traveling with us. He never leaves us our side. He is our best friend, as mentioned in the Kathopanishad. That is Surut Sarva Bhutana. Now we should always remember we are never alone. Like Naradji tells in his own life history to Vyasdev, that I was never alone. Although after my mother left, I left for the forest, but I never felt alone. The Supreme Lord was always with me. And that is what we should always feel, his presence. When we are more and more Krishna conscious, we will never feel alone. The Supreme Personality of God is Sri Krishna. Nandan is always there in the form of Chaitya Guru or Paramatma. So, like this, showing his immense gratitude to the crows, because the crows also don't get good food. They only feed on trash, something that is rejected by everybody. But Sri Krishna here personally feeds with his own hands. While this wonderful act of gratitude is happening, Mother Yashoda slowly sees, when she turns around, she sees that mess, the pool that has been created. She sees the broken pot, and still there is the half-churned milk or the half-made yogurt oozing out of it. And there she is extremely upset, but at the same time she sees the little footprints of Sri Krishna. She doesn't find Sri Krishna right there in that pool, but she sees a little set of footprints leading to that storeroom. And immediately she gets that humor. Look how my son Kana Lala is so innocent, thinking that he can hide from me. I can see his little white footprints, the cute footprints. But again, she is overpowered by that anger, seeing that how much work she has today, especially being Indra Yagya. She had also promised to make some things at home. And she also wanted to make this butter for Krishna. It was getting late. It was already sunlight. It was already dawn. And now she is like set back behind because there's no help also at home. All the maid servants have gone, and even Mother Rohini is not there. Everything now she will have to clean up. Can you imagine, for example, from our practical experience, if we have a home program or a satsang, and let's say we are inviting 50 people, or let's say 50 to 100 devotees are coming, and suddenly at the last minute, in the last hour, if Mataji is cooking some nice rice or some dal, and the cooker suddenly bursts open and it creates a huge mess, and now she is set back by another couple hours. The program is supposed to start, and now I have to clean up the whole mess. and now have to start the item for cooking all over from scratch. So that can be very upsetting. You all can imagine. And that's how Mother Yashoda was feeling. And over and above that, due to her Vatsalya Rasa, our acharyas say that because he was actually, now that naughtiness was being displayed right in front of her eyes, all those complaints were pouring in Rajmandal. The gopis of Gokul used to come, but she never believed it. And now she saw with her own eyes how naughty her son was. So she was upset that, now being a mother, it is time for me to correct my son, because this is not good. He's only 2.5 years. So that mamata, that Vatsalya Ras, was also one of the reasons why she was upset, because she wanted to correct her son. So she slowly follows those little white footprints with a little stick in her hand. When she slowly opens, she has seen that the door is latched closed, and she opens the latch. In the olden days, they had those huge wooden latches, and then you can open them from both sides. So she slowly opens the latch without making noise, and slowly opens the door, and she peeks in. The moment she peeks in, the monkeys and the crows that are feeding of Sri Krishna's hand, they start going in a backward position, in a backward motion. And when they go in a backward motion, Krishna is surprised. And he says, come forward. What's wrong with you? Are your bellies already full? And then they see some fear in the eyes, and the eyes of the monkeys and the crows. The monkeys of Vrindavan are extremely, very chatur. It is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Jai Bhaje Krishna Shai Bado Chatur. Those who worship Krishna, they are very clever. So the devotees of Krishna are very clever, but there are many types of associates, including the cows and the monkeys, especially the monkeys of Vrindavan. They're extremely very clever. And they sense that there was some big problem coming. So even with that Makhan that Krishna was still displaying in front of them, they did not want to move forward. I'll tell you some practical experiences about these monkeys of Vrindavan. We have to remember one thing, that in Sri Vrindavan Dham, even the little ant or that hog, the pig or the monkeys, and so many different creatures, they are more fortunate than us when they take birth in the land of Vraja. That is a fact. Many Shastras have confirmed that. So we have to be extremely respectful, not only to the people of Vraj, not only to the dust of Vraj or the land of Vraj, but to all the trees, the creepers, the lata, pata, all the creatures, the animals, including the monkeys. Sometimes I've seen that some devotees who visit, Vrindavan, they stone the monkeys, and they try to make, kind of excite them in a very aggressive way. That is very offensive. They are Vaishnavas. You and I may not have the power to see that, but because they have been given that opportunity to be born in Vraj, and Krishna personally associated with them, and Krishna personally fed them, so you can imagine how fortunate they are and how clever they are. Let me tell a little bit about a story about their cleverness. Few years ago, this is maybe about 20 years ago, when I visited Sri Vrindavan Dham, I was, every evening for several years, every time when I go, it has been a habit that, 4 p.m. when the darshans open in the afternoon, first take darshan of Krishna Balram Mandir of our temple, Prabhupada, and then go to the temples of the Goswamis. So I had gone along with one elderly gentleman who was very fond of me. So we used to, meet in the Krishna Balram temple and then take the rickshaw, and then we would start with the Goswami temples. So we had actually reached at one point Seva Kunj in the Radha Damodar temple. And we were offering our obeisances to Srila Rupa Goswami's Samadhi at that time. And he was also offering his obeisances, but at that time he had glasses. I did not have any glasses. So when he got up, we both got up after offering our obeisances, we found that the glasses were gone. And then we looked around, what happened? And there was not a single soul, because at 4 p.m., 4:15, 4:30 p.m., not many devotees are out. It was still a very hot day. So very few people. So actually that courtyard was completely empty. It was just me and that Prabhuji. And then I noticed that, oh, sitting on the tree where Jiva Goswami's bhajan sthali is, there was a monkey with the glasses. So I said, Prabhuji, your glasses, the monkey has taken. Oh, and at that time, the pujari also was passing by through that courtyard, and he said, Chinta mat karo, abhi hum kuch phal la rahe hain. So he said, don't worry, I will bring some fruit. And he goes inside and he brings some fruit, some bananas, and he throws those bananas up, and the monkey in exchange throws those glasses down. And this Prabhuji is a very happy camper. And then we leave. So from then on, we were warned many times that anytime you come to Seva Kunj, especially or in the Radha Raman Gehra and near the Madan Mohan temple, and just before Chir Ghat, those are the most notorious for monkeys to pick up. Previously, they used to only pick up the chashma or the glasses, but nowadays they pick up purses, they pick up mobiles. Somehow or the other, they have become so clever. Anyways, to make a long story short, so in the future, as I went, at that time I did not have glasses. Glasses probably started in the last 12 years of my life. But whenever I went to Vrindavan and when I saw some devotees in those areas, I would warn them, Prabhuji, Mataji, chasma nikal do, andar rakh do jeb mein, keep it in your pockets, otherwise they'll be gone. And then naturally, sometimes out of forgetfulness, they would forget, and the monkeys would take it. And then, as if I had learned nicely from that pujari, I would say, don't worry, we'll get your glasses back. And then I would find some banana, some fruit seller there, or a sabji wala, and then throw the banana, and the monkey would give back the glasses, and those devotees would be very happy. Like this, over the years, this continued. Now, 4 years ago, I was actually, again, my routine evening time, taking darshan out of Seva Kunj, Radha Damodar temple, just walked a few steps, and then by that time, obviously, I had glasses. So by default, the moment I entered Loi Bazaar and all those areas, by default, my glasses would go into my pocket. Or I had a little bag. It would go automatically in the bag, just like robotic. So after taking darshan, I came out, and then I still did not have my glasses on at that time. But I needed a small harmonium, a portable one, because many times, going for the home programs, it was very cumbersome for me to carry my big harmonium. So I said, let me buy a small portable one. So about 4 stores down from the Radha Damodar temple, there was a small harmonium shop. In those, even now, if you see in Vrindavan, some of the shops are elevated. They are on stone platforms. So you take a few steps and then you enter. So I entered, and then I told that harmonium wala, Baba, can you show me some small portable harmonium? I have big ones, I have nice ones, I have a scalable one, and I'm looking for something very small and compact. He says, yes, I have a nice piece. I have 2-3 nice ones, you can try it out. So very small shop, literally like a 6x6 place. So I'm standing inside the store and I'm testing out the harmoniums. And then, of course, I'm in the store, I feel safe. I take out my glasses and I put them inside the store. And I'm trying the harmonium. Say, sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, trying out all the notes, making sure that it is all good according to scale. And suddenly my glasses are gone from the back. So the shopkeeper tells me, Prabhuji, aapka chashma gaya. Your glasses are gone. I said, yeah, I know. I thought it was some devotee who was passing by, who must have come behind me and taken them away. Little did I know that this was actually a monkey who hung from behind me on the rooftop of that shop, extended a couple feet inside and took my glasses away. Unbelievable. Most surprising. And then I got out of the shop, saw the monkey sitting 2 floors up, and it had a little baby also on the stomach, clinging onto the stomach. So I, like an expert, tell the shopkeeper, aapke paas kuch fruit hai? Fruit laiye, fruit. Do you have some fruit? Bring some fruit. So now the shopkeeper started laughing at me. He says, Prabhuji, abhi fruit se kaam nahi chalega, abhi fruity chahiye, fruity. He said, now with fruit, It's not going to work out, that old trick. The monkeys are very, very clever in the Vraj Dham. Now they want the Tetra Pak juice called Fruity. It's a special orange or a mango juice. A mango juice that is in a paper carton. And that's called Fruity. And that's all they want. If you throw bananas, if you throw fruits, they're not going to give you a chashma back. So he sends his little assistant boy to the store next door and gives him 15 rupees and brings that Fruity. And the moment the Fruity is thrown up with meticulous, that little monkey, that female monkey opens it up, feeds the little monkey, the little baby, hardly born, and drinks it herself, and then after finishing throws the glasses down, and they're back to me. A few days later, in that same lane, right after Radha Shyam Sundar temple, I heard some screaming. One elderly lady was screaming, and I said, what happened? And I thought that she said, Mary Jolie, my bag, my bag. So I thought there was a thief. Somebody ran away with the bag. And then she said, Bandar, Bandar. And she said, that monkey right there, that monkey has taken my chanting beads, my Jolie, my mala bag. Oh, I said, Mataji, don't worry. So then I go to the shop, nearest shop, take 15, 20 rupees, get that Fruity, that drink, and then throw it, and I retrieve back that bag, the bead bag, and I give it back to the Mataji. She was in tears because she said, these are my initiated beads given by my Guru Maharaj. What would I have done? And she started blessing me. I said, no, Mataji, if you want to give blessings, give it to that harmonium wala who taught me this trick. So anyways, so this is how these monkeys in the Vraja, they are very clever. There's one small story that I would like to share. One time in Vraj, there was one hat seller. He was selling hats, and it was the ancestral business from from grandfather to father, father to son, like that. So in the afternoon time, the hat seller would sell hats in the day, and then in the afternoon, it's too hot, he would find a nice tree somewhere in Vrindavan and go to sleep, get some rest, put his arm or put the entire bag of hats that he had, the topis that he was selling, under his, put it on the side, and he would take his arm and sleep on it, take some rest. When he woke up one day, he saw that all the hats that he had left on the side were gone. They were completely gone. And then he looked, there were a bunch of monkeys sitting on the same tree, and all the hats that he had, they were playing with them. So he was thinking, now what should I do? I need those hats back. So he remembered that his grandfather had told him a story on how this similar incident had happened to him during when he was selling hats at one time in Vrindavan. So he had his own little hat, the topi, which he had tucked under his arm when he was sleeping. He took that topi, he wore it on him, and he started making some actions. He started doing this, so the monkeys did that. He started doing this, so the monkeys did that. He started doing this, the monkeys started imitating. And then he took his hat and he threw it on the ground. And all the monkeys that had their hats in their hands, they also threw it on the ground. So this hat seller was happy. He collected all the hats. He got all his hats back. And then he went back. He was a happy camper. And then he went on selling his hats. A couple generations later, the grandson of this person again happened to be in the same spot, in the same Vrindavan area where he had taken rest. And when he woke up, all his hats were gone. And he looked up and he saw all the hats were taken up by the monkeys. So he remembered, my grandfather had taught me this, which his great-grandfather had taught my grandfather this trick. So then he takes his hat and he again starts doing this, and all the kinds of, and monkeys kind of like to imitate. So in that imitation, they also followed him, and then he threw his hat on the ground. And then suddenly he noticed that none of the monkeys threw the hats on the ground. And he just was in awe. He kept on looking up. And then suddenly, one monkey came down, perhaps the chief of those monkeys in that group, and slapped that topi wala. He slapped that hat seller. And he said, you think only you have grandfather? Only you have grandfather? Our grandfather also told this story, that this hat seller tricked you, so don't get tricked again. You can keep the hats. So, like that, okay, this is like, just on a humorous tone. These monkeys of Vrindavan are amazing. As long as you don't mess with them, they won't mess with you. And sometimes, even if they take something from you, think of that that it is some piety to your credit that they have taken it. That they have chosen you for their food or their supply because they are devotees of Sri Krishna. Anyways, so seeing that Mother Yashoda behind, the monkeys and the crows, they are started to go back, and Krishna finds something very, very strange. He turns around and sees Mother Yashoda with a stick in her hand. And as soon as he sees that Mother Yashoda, he jumps off the grinding motor and he leaps into the front yard through the other door. Jiva Goswami describes that this particular room had two doors, one from the other part of the palace and the other one that was going into the yard. So there's an amazing, interesting observation that why did Krishna leap and go outside into the front yard rather than he could have easily gone into the Nanda Bhavan. Nanda Bhavan, or the palace of Nanda Maharaj, is pretty big. As a matter of fact, those who have visited Gokul, Purani Gokul, old Gokul, there is Chorasi Khamba. Even in Kamyavan, there was a palace of Nanda Maharaj, and there is also Chorasi Khamba there, 84 pillars. Can you imagine if we have a nice house which is 3,000 square feet, and you have maybe 4 or 5 pillars in the basement that support the entire structure of the house, right? We see that in the unfinished basements. Can you imagine 84 pillars? That's what Nanda Maharaj's palace was on. And if Krishna wanted to, dodge Mother Yashoda, he could have gone into the palace and dodged her around the 84 pillars. And perhaps there were much more. But right now, what they say is Chorasi Khamba. Chorasi means 84. That's the remnants of the ancient time of whatever was left of Nanda Maharaj's palace. But he decides to go into the open front yard. So the reason behind that is that in Vraj, the ladies have they have shyness. They generally do not go out into the public or into the open without covering their heads. And that system is even there today. If you go to some of the Vraj villages, you will find, and even into some of the villages in India, and especially in North India, the ladies, they out of shyness, they cover their heads with a veil. So if Mother Yashoda covers, if she comes out into the front yard, that means she will have to cover her head with the veil. And that way she will not be able to easily see him so quickly and he can escape. That was one of the reasons. And it was early in the morning and Mother Yashoda looked left and right, seeing nobody there, and she was determined to catch Krishna. So this was one of the philosophies here, that if you want Sri Krishna, you have to be determined. She was determined to catch the naughty Krishna, to punish him out of motherly affection. So she looked left and right, not finding anybody, put her veil, but as she started running, her veil and even the flowers that were there, the veni in her head, started to kind of, spread around. The flowers started breaking off and she was chasing baby Krishna. She was determined. And just like Rupa Goswami says, Utsaha, Dhairya, Nischaya. Nischaya means one should be determined. Utsaha means in Krishna consciousness, one should be enthusiastic. And Dhairya means patience. So Nischaya is also very important. One should be determined to catch Krishna. Then only Krishna can be controlled. Otherwise, we will be controlled for Krishna, and we can always enter Vaikuntha when we are completely purified. And we can serve the Supreme Lordships in Dasya Rasa, and we are controlled by the Supreme Lord. There's nothing wrong with that. That is also one of the rasas, or one of the mellows. But in Raj Mandal or in Golok Vrindavan, it is different. And Mother Yashoda is not at that time worried about if the elders are already woken up or if there's some people watching. She was determined to catch Krishna. So therefore, Satyavrat Muni starts this Damodar Ashtakam by saying, Namami Ishwaram Satchitananda Rupam Lasata Kundalam Gokule Vrajamanam Yashoda Bhiyul Lukhalat Dhavamanam Paramastam Atyanta Toto Dhrutya Gopya. So we have to understand, Sanatana Goswami says this Damodar Ashtakam was compiled by Satyavrat Muni in some eons, in some Satya Yuga. And the mention has been in the Padma Puran in a conversation between Shaunak, headed by Shaunak Rishi, and Naradji. The special mention, a conversation, just like right now, how we are discussing Satyavrat Muni's. We have just started to discuss Satyavrat Muni's Damodar Ashtakam. The bhav is so wonderful that as we go through every word or every line, we will kind of realize what we have been kind of missing out just by reading the translation, the ordinary translation that we read, which is perfect, of course, no doubt about it. But there are so many wonderful nuances and so much wonderful rasa that has been hidden. By the mercy of the Goswamis, we are able to actually relish this. So, first observation, the Sanatana Goswami mentions it is from the Padma Puran, and it is a conversation between Naradji and Shaunak Rishi. And it is as if, now this is very, very important, and I would appreciate it if devotees can really pay very good attention to this, because I really love this point. Because when we read the Damodar Ashtakam or sing the Damodar Ashtakam, at that time we do not realize that what Sanatana Goswami sings. Sanatana Goswami says that it is as if it's a conversation between Krishna and Satyavrat Muni. I will repeat that again. As if it is a subtle, sukshma samvad. It is called, sukshma means subtle and samvad means a conversation or a dialogue between Krishna and Satyavrat Muni. So that's the first point that I would like devotees to take home, while you're listening to this today, that when next time you sing the Damodar Ashtakam, think of it as a conversation between Satyavrat Muni, the author of this bhajan or this Ashtakam. Ashtakam means, Ashta means 8, and Ashtakam means 8 verses. So any prayer or any bhajan that has 8 verses is generally known as Ashtakam. So therefore this is known as Damodar Ashtakam. The Ashtakam that glorifies the pastimes of the Lord Damodar, who was bound by the love of Mother Yashoda on his tummy. Dam means rope and Udar means the stomach. So this Damodar Ashtakam, Satyavrat Muni, first of all, praises Sri Krishna by offering him obeisances in Dasya Ras. Please try to understand why those relationships that I had mentioned in the setting the stage are important. Those relationships are manifesting here in a very pure form. So when he first starts the Ashtakam, he's saying, Namami Ishwaram Sat Chit Ananda Rupam. I offer my obeisances. So when you are in Dasya Rasa, you offer obeisances. When you are in a servitorship, Ananda Baba, Yashoda Mai, Radharani, the Sakhis or the Sakhas, they don't offer obeisances to Krishna. They don't do that because they don't consider him in the mood of Aishwarya or in the mood of awe and reverence. They consider him as his buddy, as his baby, as the lover. Correct? So therefore, Satyavrat Muni first starts by offering obeisances in the Dasya Rasa. By that Ishwar, Ishwar in Sanskrit means controller. We are all controllers because we are part and parcels of Sri Krishna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mama Yamsha Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Every Jiva is my part and parcel. Mamai Ansha. So if Krishna, all the qualities of Krishna are there within us, all of them, all the qualities, but in a very atomic or a very minuscule way. Prabhupada likes to give the example like the vast ocean. The ocean, if you take a little drop of the ocean, it has the same chemical composition or saltiness that we find in the vast ocean. Or we give an example of the vast gold mine. And a small particle of gold, when the jeweler is making jewelry, and you see when he's filing or making jewelry, the little particles fall in his lap of the gold. It is of the same quality of the gold that is found in the gold mine. So similarly, because everything emanates from Sri Krishna Janmadi Yasya, as the Vedanta Sutra and Srimad Bhagavatam mention, everything, even the part and parcels or the souls that are also, they have all the qualities of Sri Krishna. And also, therefore, he is actually offering obeisances to the Ishvara, which one but? We are all Ishwaras, but Ishvara Parama Krishna, the topmost Ishwar is Sri Krishna, Param Krishna, topmost. Brahmaji says also that he is Ishvara Parama Krishna, that Krishna is the supreme controller, he is the topmost. But, so therefore I offer my obeisances to that supreme controller, Namami Ishwaram Satchit Ananda Rupam, and what? He is Sat Chit Ananda Rupam. Very important point. All the avatars of Sri Krishna, whether Vishnu, Narayana, etc., Lord Ramachandra, Vamana, Narsingadev, Matsya avatar, Kurma avatar, all the different avatars of Lord Krishna, they are all Satchitananda. Sat means they are eternal. Chitta means they are fully cognizant or conscious, or they are the source of all consciousness. Nityo Nityanam Chetanos Chetnanam Eko Shyam Bahuda Vidati Kaman. This is a verse also from the Upanishads, that he is the one who can fulfill the desire of all the other souls. He is Nityo Nityanam and he is Eko Shyam. He is one personality that he expands into Bahuda, into millions or unlimited. So that's Satchitananda Rupam. I offer my obeisances. But he specifies. What does he specify? That Satchitananda Rupa that has got the Lasata Kundalam, whose earrings, who is wearing earrings and whose earrings are frolicking by touching his cheeks. He is actually saying that how fortunate these earrings are, that because the earrings again are Vaishnava, right? That these earrings are able, she is able to kiss the beautiful cheeks of Sri Krishna. How fortunate. So here, and then he adds that Lasata Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. I offer my obeisances to that Lord Satchitananda, and he specifies not only that the ones whose earrings are frolicking on the cheeks that Mother Yashoda has put on, but the personality in Gokul, Brajamanam. Brajamanam means one who is splendidly situated in Vrajdham, in Gokul. There are many Satchitanandas, Lord Narayana, Vishnu, etc. But I specifically am offering my obeisances to that Satchitananda who is playing in Gokul. While playing, the cheeks are being kissed by those wonderful earrings who are so fortunate. And due to their kissing, they look very glorious. The beauty of Sri Krishna, the Rupam, that Rupa, he is actually. So here first, our Sanatana Goswami Pad is saying that the Dasyaras is there, and then after Dasyaras, he has kind of eulogized Sri Krishna in this first verse as glorifying his beauty, his Rupam. It's like somebody, when we are going to somebody's house, let's say on Diwali day, and we wear a very nice dress. Let's say some Matajis, they have some very nice jewelry. So when they see another Mataji, they say, oh, very nice earrings. I like your bangles, or I like your necklace. They are glorifying. So like that, Satyavrat Muni has not only glorified the Satchitananda Rupa in Gokul, and this Satchitananda Rupa also means that it is bereft of Aishwarya of Vaikuntha. Please try to understand this. This is a very deep point. There is Satchitananda, that feature of opulence is there in Gokul or in Rajmandal, but it is of a very different nature. The opulence of Sri Krishna is the Vrajvasis. The opulence of Sri Krishna is Vrajdham. The opulence of Sri Krishna is Yamuna. The opulence of Sri Krishna is Govardhan. The opulence of Sri Krishna in Rajmandal are the trees. The opulences are the creepers, the flowers, the flora and the fauna. The opulences, the gopas, the gopis. The opulences, the Madhuri gopis. And the topmost opulence is Sri Radha. So here he has specified Gokule Brajamana. So here there is, although in Dasya, that Dasya glorifies the opulence of Vrajdham. This is the deeper meaning of the first 4 words, Namami Ishwaram Satchit Ananda Rupam, and Lasata Kundalam, the frolicking the frolicking earrings. Here he is trying to glorify the jewelry of Sri Krishna. Just like sometimes when we are going to the office and we want a raise, we've seen that many people do that. Hey boss, I like your tie, huh? It's beautiful, but it might be the ugliest tie. Or I like your shirt. And they try to kind of strike a nice conversation by glorifying the paraphernalia of the boss. So similarly, Satyavrat Muni, in his conversation with Krishna, he has not only glorified his Gokul, uh, his opulence in Gokul in the form of Vraj Mandal and the devotees of Vraj, he has also started glorifying his jewelry. Lasata Kundalam, Gokule Brajamanam, in the Gokul when you are playing with such splendor. So now Sri Krishna has a nice smile on his face. So this is something that you have to feel it from your heart. Satyavrat Muni is speaking to Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna is standing right in front of Satyavrat Muni. And he is glorifying his jewelry. And like that, not only that, he is known as Dasya Vishesha by offering obeisances. Then Madhurya Rupa Vishesha, the beauty of Sri Krishna along with his Rupa and his jewelry. He's glorifying that. And then he starts glorifying Yashoda Bhiyul Lukhalad Dhavamanam Paramastam Atyanto Tato Dhrutya Gopya. Here he starts glorifying the love of Mother Yashoda. Yashoda Bhiya, that, oh, Krishna, I see that you were scared of Mother Yashoda. You remember? So this, if you all remember, this is the second time it has been mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam about this incidence of the Dambandan Leela or the Damodar Leela. When is the first time? Anybody remembers? It is in the first canto, chapter 8, Mother Kunti. When Mother Kunti is telling Krishna, reminding Krishna of how Mother Yashoda, caught you and tied you to the grinding mortar. And in the second verse, we will see how your mascara was all messed up because you were crying. So like this, Satyavrat Muni, following the footsteps of great devotees, reminds Sri Krishna of the intimate pastimes between him and his mother, the Vatsalya Rasa. So he highlights that the Vatsalya Rasa Vishesha. So first highlight is the Dasya Ras Vishesh. Second highlight is, in the first verse, is Madhurya Rupa Vishesh. And the third point that he is eulogizing or highlighting is the love of Mother Yashoda, that how you were scared. Yashoda Bhi. Bhi means you were scared. Yashoda Bhi, you look khalad. Ukkalad means from the grinding mortar. Ukkalad. Dhavamanam. You ran away. I remember that. Oh Krishna. Paramastam Atyanto Dhrutya Gopya. And she caught you forcefully from behind. So like that, Satyavrat Muni is eulogizing Sri Krishna. Coming back to the actual Leela in context with this particular verse, Krishna runs very fast into the front yard, and Mother Yashoda is very heavy set. Her heaviness is described. She has got a huge chest, very thin waist, and she has got very huge hips, and she cannot keep up with Sri Krishna. And while she is running, the ketki flowers, it's called a veni. I don't know what you call it in English. Like the women in India, they decorate their back of the head with a row of flowers. It's called a veni. So she has a veni of ketki flowers that has been specified. And as she is running with her heftiness, and due to her heavy motions, the flowers, they start going astray and they start falling off. And Mother Yashoda stops for a moment, looking them at the floor. Again, we have to remember, they are Vaishnavas, and she wants to pick them up. And these ketki flowers are saying, Mother Yashoda, go, catch that rascal, he's right there. Don't worry about us. And Mother Yashoda, after the Vaishnavas, as the ketki flowers have said so, she starts pursuing Sri Krishna. Now Mother Yashoda is so determined because of the naughtiness. She's thinking, I have to correct him. And then when she goes behind Krishna, Krishna is not being able to come into her reach, no matter how hard she is trying. So our acharyas explain that the reason is because her endeavor has to be even more greater to catch Krishna. It is not so easy to catch Krishna. And then when she has almost caught up, she cannot still touch Sri Krishna. But Krishna hears her panting. And Krishna, when she hears the panting of her mother, he looks behind. You must see that beautiful picture that is there. I think when we sing the Damodar Ashtakam, it will be displayed that Mother Yashoda is running behind Sri Krishna, and Krishna has turned around. At a certain degree, his neck is there, and he has got a lot of fear in his eyes. And then the moment Krishna turns around, Mother Yashoda was able to catch him from behind. So Mother Yashoda's, here again the same principle comes in. Mother Yashoda's love for Krishna has exceeded. That when our love for Sri Krishna exceeds, then Krishna comes under our control. Until and unless our love does not exceed the love of Krishna, Krishna can never become Bhakta Vasya. He can always be Bhakta Vatsala, but not Bhakta Vasya. So when Mother Yashoda, when Krishna sees behind, at that time, he gets caught. Mother Yashoda catches him from the Param Ashtam Atyanto Tato Dhrutya Gopya. Atyanta, ultimately. Dhrutya, running very swiftly. It's like the last leg. I have to catch him, determined. Utsa, Dhairya, Nishchaya, determined. And finally, Mother Yashoda is able to catch Sri Krishna. When Sri Krishna is caught from behind, what happens? When he is caught from behind, seeing the stick in Mother Yashoda's hand, the second verse of Satyavrat Muni. Satyavrat Muni is still continuing to eulogize Mother Yashoda and Mother Yashoda's prema. He's saying, Rudantam, Muhu, Netram, Yugmam Murjantam, Karam Amboja Yugmena, Satanka Netram, Muhu Sasha, Kampan, Trire Kankha, Kantha, Sthita, Graiva, Damodar, Bhakti Baddham. What a beautiful pastime. This is something that when we sing Damodar Ashtakam, this should come in front of our eyes. As we know the meaning, and that is one of the reasons why we should study these bhajans, these always perfected prayers, so that it will enhance our bhakti. When Mother Yashoda has caught him from behind, seeing the stick in the hand of Mother Yashoda, he starts crying incessantly. And he starts rubbing Mrujantam with his lotus hands, Karam Bhuja. Now, Krishna is very tricky. Our acharyas comment that Mother Yashoda has already caught him, but he needs to free himself from Mother Yashoda. So what he does is, he starts to induce crocodile tears. Yes, I repeat that. This is the inner vision of the acharyas, by rubbing the eyes again and again. Karam Bhoja Yugmina Netram. Muhu means incessantly and with a lot of vigor. If you want to try it out, you can do that. If you rub your eyes, like sometimes, something very small goes in, and at that time the eyes are not teary, but you just feel some irritation. But when you rub it and rub your eyes, trying to get rid of that thing, then you see that the eyes become watery and tears come out, and you feel, and if somebody sees you, they will see as if you're crying. But this has been induced. Just like those naughty kids who don't want to go to school the next day, sometimes they feign a stomachache. Mama, it's hurting too much. Or in the morning, when they try to wake him up, Mama, I can't. It's hurting too much. And then the parents, although they know that he's fibbing, but somehow or the other, sometimes they say, okay, all right, no school for you today. So Krishna first, this is the third time he cries in this Damodar Leela. The first time when he wakes up, when he doesn't find his mother. The second time when he actually, when mother puts him down to save the milk, Vaishnava. The third time is when he cries, when he is caught from behind and is inducing these tears because Mother Yashoda has a stick in her hand. It is because he is so scared that he doesn't want to get punished. he induces tears, and he knows that Mother Yashoda is very, very innocent. She is very Nicholas. She is extremely, and that is one of the qualities of a pure Vaishnava. Vaishnavas are very, very simple hearted. Anybody can fool them if they want to. Of course, Vaishnavas are very, very intelligent also, because Krishna is seated in their heart. So if somebody is trying to fool them, then Krishna raises the red flag also. But generally speaking, Vaishnavas are very, very innocent. And he was thinking that my mother will let me go if she sees those tears in my eyes. But Mother Yashoda, instead of letting me go, lets go of the stick. She throws the stick away. See, so much wonderful details are given. We are missing out when we just read the translation. Because she sees that the fear is there, but she also understands that my boy is fibbing those tears. He is just trying to, induce them. But when she is actually, after throwing the stick, she actually tries to raise her hand, at that time, immediately Krishna feels that now, no way, she's going to let me go. And that is the reason his eyes are filled with fear. Satanka netram and muhusasha kampa trire khanka kantha. Knowing that now he is not going to be able to go away from Mother Yashoda's grip, he is going to be punished. Now he really starts crying the fourth time. He starts crying in this Damodar Leela. Really tears flow down, and he is basically a swasha kampa. He takes heavy breaths. Maya. Heavy breathing. Muhu swasha kampa, and he's shivering, trembling, kampa. And he's looking down like that, with his eyes looking up at Mother Yashoda. And as he's looking down, he's so beautiful and chubby, his beauty, that his cheeks, they form three beautiful lines like we find on a conch shell. Look at the beauty, the Visesh Rupa of Satyavrat Muni as he's speaking to Sri Krishna about his beauty, even while he was trembling. And the graiva or the necklace that was on his chest, the beautiful necklace on his chest, while he was trembling, it appeared that his chest was also the Damodar, the graiva or the necklace was also shaking on his chest, and such beautiful sight that he saw. Damodar Bhakti Baddham. He was caught by the love of Mother Yashoda. Right now he is caught from the back, and then Mother Yashoda catches his wrist. And she says to Damodar, he's saying, Kana, Lala, I heard every day that you are stealing, but I never believed those gopis. And you are breaking pots, and I never believed them. And today I saw with my own eyes, who broke the pot? So now Krishna, in his sobbing with the tears that are flowing in his eyes like Ganga and Jamuna, his mascara is all messed up and causing one side to be whitish. This is the beauty of the description of the Acharyas. And on one side, because of the tears mixed with the mascara, Jamuna ji is dark in color. So the Ganga and Jamuna are flowing from Damodar's eyes. And he's saying, Maya, I did not break the pot. Acha, you did not break the pot. Then who broke the pot? So then he said, Maya, one who made it, broke it. See, now he's talking. Yogmaya for a second reveals that he is the Supreme Lord himself, and the Lord has made everything. Everything is Janmadi Yasya. So one who made it, broke it. Oh, really? No, Maya, actually, you know what? You are so holy. You are so innocent. You are trying to get that milk of the stove, and you ran in such speed that your ankle bells hit that bottom of that milk yogurt pot, and it broke it. Oh, really? Now you are lying. No, Maya, I am not lying. And then tell me one thing, Lala. What about all this makhan, butter that is smeared on your cheeks and on your clothes and on your lips? How did that happen? Ari Maya, I'll tell you really what happened. While you were still engaged with the milk, Every day one monkey comes and he tries to steal your butter and your yogurt. And today I caught him. And when I caught him, he became very upset. And he slapped it all over me, all that butter and that makhan and that half-made yogurt and that milk. And that's how you see it. And Mother Yashoda internally wanted to laugh loudly and say, look how innocent my Lala is. But then her Vatsalya bhav was so intense that no, I must teach you a lesson. You're stealing everywhere, and now I saw it with my own eyes. You're doing it here, breaking pots, making you mischievous. At this very young age, you are stealing, you're becoming a chore, you're becoming like Kafalak. So in Vraj, there is a mention of a great dacoit by the name Kafalak. So this Kafalak, when you grow up, you want to become like him? And you chore, you friend of the monkeys. That's what Mother Yashoda started calling him. You chore, you thief. So Krishna sobbing, Damodar sobbing, he says, Maiya, in his broken Brajbasi Bhasha, in his broken language, Maiya, I'm not a chore, I'm not a thief. And in my dynasty of Nanda Baba, there are no thieves. But I have heard that in your dynasty, there was one thief by the name Chor Ghosh. This little 2.5-year-old has the audacity to press the wrong buttons. He tells the mother that, in my dynasty, there is no thief, in Nanda Baba's dynasty, in our family or in our lineage. But in your dynasty, I have heard that there was one Gopa by the name Chor Ghosh. Chor means thief and Ghosh means basically the village or the thief of the village. Chor Ghosh. And that was it. When you get on the wrong side of women, the worst is when you start criticizing them with the in-laws. Even when the husband and wife fight, say anything you want, but don't go into the in-laws. The moment you step into that domain, this is going to become Mahabharata, Ramayana, and World War III combined. We have to be extra careful not to go into the in-laws. So here Krishna, although he is in a very bad situation, he says that, I've heard that there is a chore in your family, not in mine. And that was the last straw. Mother Yashoda immediately drags him and marches him into the same room where the rafters were hanging, where he was feeding the crows and the monkeys. And there the ukkal or the grinding mortar was there. And she said, you are so naughty, I must punish you, Krishna. And the reason why she takes him into that into that same room is because she wants to tie Krishna to the grinding mortar. So the acharyas say, again, this is so much with intense transcendental feelings. Why they have reasoned it? They say that she could have easily tied Krishna to so many trees that were there in the front yard of Nanda Baba, or to maybe one of the pillars in the kitchen while she's cleaning up the mess or cooking. But no, she decides to tie Krishna to that grinding mortar. And it is commented, she says that Krishna, you are khala. Khala means you're cheater. And the grinding mortar in Sanskrit or Vraj Bhasha is called ukkhala. You are also a great cheater because you helped him in this cheating business or this business of mischief. Because again, we have to remember, again and again, everything is a Vaishnava in the spiritual world. So she's talking to the ukkal. You are khal, Lala, Krishna, you are khal and you are ukkal. You both will get punished. Just like we see that sometimes, when there is a crime and if a criminal comes and hides in our house, and if we knowingly let the criminal hide and if the law finds out, then we will also be prosecuted for, supporting a criminal under the codes of law. We will be also prosecuted. We are partners in crime. for not revealing. So similarly, partner in crime, the grinding motor, and the criminal, Damodar, you will both be punished. So Mother Yashoda at that time, she actually takes the ribbon out of her head. That is what it is said first. We know, we have heard that it's a rope, but no, according to Jiva Goswami, she has got long, beautiful hair and she has got strong ribbons. We have seen in our childhood that some of the schoolgirls that were living in our building, how the mothers used to tie the ribbons. And those ribbons, trust me, some of the Matajis who are present here, they can confirm this. When they were selling them, the vendors, they're pretty long. They're probably about 3-4 feet long in length. And they're pretty strong too. So sometimes we saw the neighbor's mother, those little girls, tying those ribbons for about 20 minutes, a good 20 minutes to tie their braids in those ribbons. So Mother Yashoda loosens her ribbon and wants to punish Damodar by tying him to the ukhal, to the partner in crime. And when she is doing that, what happens? She's 2 fingers short. Now it is already late, it is morning, and it is about 7ish in the morning. And the description is given that every morning, the gopis of Raj, they love Mother Yashoda and Krishna so much that especially before Krishna went for cow herding, obviously he's only 2.5 years old, so he cannot go for cow herding. So they used to come and visit the house of Nandarani or Yashoda Mai, because that was the attachment. Vaishnavas should be attached to each other. Krishna says that he is attached to the Vaishnavas. Krishna says, Narottam Das Thakur in his bhajan, Ei bar karuna karo Vaishnav Gosai, Toma vina keho nahi, where he says that Tomara hriday sada Govinda Vishram, Govinda kohena Vaishnava mama prana. In your heart, the Supreme Lord, he is resting very nicely. And Govinda, Krishna says that Vaishnavas are my life and soul. And if Vaishnavas are life and soul, then the Vaishnavas should be the life and soul for each other. So these gopis come to see Mother Yashoda, and they bring news and they help her in the kitchen. And what they saw today, that there is some crying in that, instead from the kitchen, there's some talking going on, and she hears Mother Yashoda's voice and Krishna is crying, and they go straight to that little room, the storeroom, and there they see that Mother Yashoda is desperately trying to punish Krishna by tying him to the grinding motor. And all the gopis are giggling. They're saying, see? And they started talking like saying, we told you, Yashoda, we told you so, but you would not believe. And they also saw the mess outside. See? And the broken pot, and the broken pots on the rafters, and all the mess. We told you so, didn't we, Yashoda? But you never believed us. And now you're punishing your Kana, your child. And Mother Yashoda said, yeah, he's been so naughty. Just see, I've got so much work today. And this is not nice, the lying and the cheating and the breaking of the pots and the mischief. What is he going to grow up when he when he grows up? I must punish him. And she is determined. So that determination to punish Sri Krishna is also Nischaya. That is also lots of concentrated love of Mother Yashoda. 2 fingers short, not finding that she was able to successfully tie a knot, she pulls out another ribbon. Not able to do that, she finishes the exhaust the ribbons in her head. Then she tells the gopis, what are you watching? Go grab some ropes. And then the gopis run, giggling, wanting to see the fun between mother and child in that Vatsalya Ras. They go grab some more ropes, and still they're 2 fingers short. It is as if all the ropes have exhausted. Why is it that 2 fingers are short? And at that time, the philosophical treatise or the explanation that our acharyas give is that there are 2 things required if you want to control Sri Krishna. Of course, our love should exceed, no doubt, but it has to be a very, very determined endeavor. That determination has to be there. Otherwise, even when we are doing sadhana, we are chanting the holy names, and we are following the 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex, Those who are initiated must, Prabhupada has said, chant minimum 16 good rounds, not 16 rounds, good rounds. All this we can do. And if our further determination to advance is not there, then it is as if Krishna consciousness has become static. And Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna consciousness is not static, it is dynamic. Haribol. It is very much dynamic. And it is Ananda Ambudhi Vardhanam. It increases the bliss of the practicing devotee. And if that does not happen, then there is something wrong with our Krishna consciousness. Either we are not chanting our rounds properly, or we are committing offenses, or we are not doing the right thing as prescribed by our acharyas. So these are the things. So now in the case of Mother Yashoda, this is a leading example of determination. So that she was indeed determined, that is no doubt. That determination is showed right from the time Krishna ran out into the open, and she was determined to run behind him. Although it is against the Vedic culture for a woman to run outside without her veil covered like that. But she does that, and she's determined. Even though Krishna tries to fib, he tries to cheat Mother Yashoda by the false tears initially, she is still determined to punish him out of her deep Vatsalya love. So that determination should be there. But when Mother Yashoda, and another thing about determination, it is said for sadhana there are two kinds of nyaya or logic. Our acharyas mentioned that one is known as markat nyaya and the other one is known as manjar nyaya. Markat means monkey, the logic of the monkey, and the manjar means the cat. Manjar nyaya means the logic of the cat. Now, if we look at the two, in the logic of the cat, the little baby cat that is born, or the little kitten, that the mother always, the kitten doesn't have to do anything. The mother always picks that little kitten in the mouth and takes the little kitten from one place to another place, feeds the kitten and does everything for the kitten. The kitten doesn't have to make any special endeavor. That is called Markat Nyaya. So there is a Vaishnava philosophy where they say that, we should simply depend on the kripa of the Lord, and everything else will be okay. We do not need to make any sadhana or endeavor to attain the highest goal of life. And then the Markat Nyaya is that if you see the little baby monkey, it has to make a very, very conscientious effort to cling on to the mother. Even when the mother is jumping from one tree to another tree, from one rooftop or another rooftop, and the little baby is clinging on to a mother, making a very sincere effort, and therefore it doesn't fall. Sometimes we see that if occasionally the little baby monkey falls, then it is rejected by the mother. We have personally seen it in Gokul. That's another story for another time. But due to some electrocution, she was trying to jump and the baby falls, and the baby, all the Vrajavasis were trying to revive her. But and on a huge army of monkeys, they started gathering as if they were going to attack everybody. But the Paramatma within the heart knew that the Vrajavasis meant well. They were trying to resuscitate the little baby because of the electrocution by applying massage. And when that happened, but the monkey was ready and it started walking, none of the monkeys touched him. Even the mother rejected it. This is something amazing which I witnessed with my own eyes, and I'd heard it in my childhood. But this is something that I'd witnessed about 25 years ago when I had visited Gokul, when I had gone to see my grandmother who lived in Gokul at that time. Anyways, so the point is that when I got a little distracted. Sorry about that. Can somebody quickly type what I was saying? So Mother Yashoda is 2 fingers short. Mother Yashoda is 2 fingers short. So what is that? I was saying the markat or the cat logic and the monkey logic. So according to the Vaishnavas, our Gaudiya Vaishnavas and our Acharyas, they say we should have both. The kripa of Krishna is required. It is always there. Like Prabhupada said that the sun, the kripa of Krishna, or the mercy of Krishna, or the mercy of the Acharya is just like the sun. It is shining everywhere equally, on the water, on the sea, on the rivers, on the land, on the mountains, everywhere equally. But what happens if somebody refuses to come out into the sunlight? Then what can the sun do? Then what can the Guru do? Or what can the kripa of Krishna do? Similarly, both are required. One's personal, strong endeavor, and Mother Yashoda's endeavor was definitely there, but when she was exhausted, beads of perspiration started falling on her neck and on her, and started showing up on her forehead, and all the gopis started giggling, and Mother Yashoda started becoming red. After such great endeavor, Krishna was unable, she was not successfully able to tie Sri Krishna. Then Sri Krishna, looking at Mother Yashoda's full determination, and internally Mother Yashoda is saying, Krishna, I have so many things to do, Baba. Oh Kana, I wish you would get tied up so that I can continue with my seva. And at that point, Krishna, looking at Mother Yashoda's condition and feeling her heart, because he is also Paramatma. And at that time, Yog Maya removes that curtain for 1 second. And as Paramatma, he gets that message of Mother Yashoda, what she was feeling in her heart. And otherwise also, the bonding between mother and son is so great that words are not necessary. Krishna could feel it. And at that time, Krishna allows himself to be tied. So all the fingers short that was happening were now, the knot was able to complete. Those two represented the wonderful endeavor of Mother Yashoda. And endeavor means love. Our endeavor is not based around love. At the moment as sadhaks, when our endeavor transforms into love, into preeti, like we have Ado Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sang. First we have some faith, we go to the temple, then we meet the Vaishnavas, sadhus. And the sadhus advise us into bhajana kriya. They tell us, chant the holy name, read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad, etc. That is called bhajana kriya. And then when you're serious, take initiation from a bona fide spiritual master. All that is bhajana kriya. After bhajana kriya, when we do that seriously, the anartha nivritti, all that is bad with the anarthas, things that we are carrying from time immemorial, from many, many millions and billions of births, will be eradicated. And then our real bhakti starts, where the nishtha, we are steadfast, ruchi, we have taste, we have so much love. Then at that time, we don't have to be told to do things. It is so automatic that with so much taste, we are involved in Krishna consciousness. Whether it is cooking for Krishna, or doing kirtan for Krishna, or speaking for Krishna, doing Hari Katha, etc. And then it becomes asakti. We are attached. Like Mother Yashoda is completely attached. That asakti, transcendental attachment. And then that goes into a further transcendental bhav, and then into Krishna Prem. And further, there are different delineations and nuances of Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem has got many, many different nuances. There's Snigdha Prem, there is Madhu Sneha, there is Mana, there is Raga, there is Anuraga. Radharani's topmost prema is Madanakya and Mohanakya Bhav, which is exclusive to her. And like this, it is described by our acharyas, the different levels of love and the different descriptions of love within Krishna Prem. So this endeavor should be on a basis of love. Like Prabhupada always said, when he mentioned the Christians and so many other faiths, you should be God-fearing. Even the Hindus, we should be God-fearing, be God-fearing. That's what we are taught from our childhood. But Prabhupada said, why be God-fearing? Be God-loving. That is the point. Prem, Krishna Prem is our ultimate goal. And that is what Mother Yashoda is teaching us. That is what Krishna is teaching us by making Mother Yashoda an instrument in this particular Leela. So eventually, Krishna is tied up. Stita Grava Damodara Bhakti Baddham. Damodara Bhakti Baddham, this is the third time Damodar is Bhakti Baddham, not the first time. The first time Damodar was Bhakti Baddham when Mother Yashoda was able to lift him like an ordinary baby and put him on the ground when she went to tend to the milk Vaishnava. Although Krishna had locked his legs around Mother Yashoda's waist. Somebody like Putna, the strength of 10,000 elephants could not do. So it is because of Mother Yashoda's prema, Damodar Bhakti Baddham. He became controlled by Mother Yashoda's love. Second time he became control in this particular Leela is when Mother Yashoda, after her determination, was able to caught up. She was able to catch up with Sri Krishna, and Paramastam Atyanto Tato Dhutya Bhupya. And she was able to catch up by running after Sri Krishna. And the third time, Damodar Bhakti Baddham, here it means that when Mother Yashoda was able to complete the knot, the two-finger shot, her determination was there, but eventually the kripa of Krishna was necessary for her to complete that knot. No matter how much we do sadhana, but if that kripa is not there, then we will never be successful. And that kripa flows through the acharyas. Krishna kripa is of three types. Krishna, the deity form, or Krishna in the form of his books, like his words, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam Parivartate, Sri Krishna. That is called, and Kripa Lila is also when he personally speaks to the devotees, like Mother Yashoda, the interaction or with the gopis, with the gopas, or with the interaction Vasudeva Krishna with Arjun, on the battlefield. That is also Kripa. But another Kripa is when this Kripa comes through the acharyas. And we are very fortunate that Kripa is of a higher nature. That Kripa comes through Mahaprabhu. So that Kripa, without no matter how much endeavors we can make, we can chant 64 rounds, we can chant 128 rounds, but within our hearts, it is still stone-like. It is still, we are always thinking adversely of many jivas. We are committing aparadhas, we are committing offenses. We have so many anarthas that are not being eradicated in spite of chanting the holy name. As we see the 10 offenses that we commit in chanting the holy name, they are somewhere or the other, they are predominant, either 1, 2, or all 10. So that is the reason, because the kripa of the acharya can only be obtained if we listen to the acharyas, if we follow their instructions. And then that is why we get the kripa of Radha Krishna, of the acharyas. So Stita Graiva Damodar Bhakti Baddham. So I will actually stop here, and then I will, because it's 8:30 right now, and I will cover as many verses I can in detail next week. As we can see, again, just to recap this verse, it's a conversation between Satyavrat Muni and Sri Krishna. He's trying to make Krishna, please Krishna, by first offering his obeisances in the Dasya Rasa, but he's offering obeisances to that form, the Supreme Personality of Godhead form in Gokul, or in Golok Vrindavan. There are many types of Krishnas and there are many forms of Krishna, but he is only interested in that form of Gokul. And that is the reason why we are interested in this Damodar Ashtakam as Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Very important. And as we study this further, it will be revealed why is it that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas take so much interest in this Damodar Ashtakam. And then further he is eulogizing, praising the beauty of Sri Krishna, Rupa Visesha, including his jewelry, and he's also eulogizing his mother, Yashoda, and the love that Mother Yashoda has displayed, the determination Mother Yashoda has displayed. He is actually speaking all this to Sri Krishna as if he is going to please Sri Krishna, and indeed Krishna has a broader smile as he is hearing all these from the mouth of Sri Satyavrat Muni about all the different praises that are happening in the first verse. So like this, we will continue in the other verses. I know there is so much to say. Sometimes, I summarize things quite a bit because I see that there are many new devotees who have joined, and my heart kind of pains if they cannot catch up. And that is the reason why I kind of, I kind of repeat. And sometimes we also forget things, what we have heard a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So I like to, and that is why this Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group was created, especially during this COVID, that we don't really have much restriction on the time, like in a temple environment or in a home program environment where we have to wrap up within 45 minutes or 1 hour. Those who are interested will always stay back. And obviously we still have to look at the clock, no doubt, So because right now we still have our Kartik Damodar Vrat of Gopi Geet singing and Damodar Ashtakam. That is why I will stop here right now.